Thank you, Rob. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we really need power pack presentation after this lunch. Just to give you a very brief introduction of what we are and what we would like to become in a few years of time. This is basically the overview of our cement operations. In terms of cement, we are present in India with 6.5 million ton capacity, making various products. We are present in UAE, and we want to extend our footprints in Africa. And very soon, what you see in green, we are most likely going to put up a greenfield project in UAE region. Well, ambitions are quite big. In fact, we want to take the total capacity to almost 24 million ton in the next 5 years. Apart from cement, Binani is fifth largest in terms of glass fiber production. We are also into zinc, composites, and infra projects. So that's a brief introduction of Binani operations. Okay, let's come back to this main subject. So this is totally different than what you have heard in last 1.5 days. We are talking of something which is time interested, but more traditional in nature. Personally, I have almost completed 10 years with standalone grinding unit. See, it's always very nice to convey to someone that I operate the largest grinding unit. But when you say largest, you also bring bigger problems with you. You have more variables. You are dependent on material, which is 100% coming from outside, because you are not producing anything. So this is my second standalone grinding unit. First one was sold twice. I did nothing. And this one I am now operating for the last 2.5 years. Coming to contents, we have the background, plant configuration, what are the challenges we are facing, improving efficiency, future plans. Coming back to Binani cement, in fact, you will find a lot of flavor in terms of slag. And the reason is, Binani was first to introduce slag in this region, and we started with not clinker grinding, but slag grinding, way back in 1999. Capacity was expanded in segmented manner. We started in 1999, then added in 2006, and then further addition in 2011. Currently, slag is almost, it's not even 40%, it is touching 50% of our total production. Within available framework and resources, well, we are trying to manage our job efficiently and try to adopt cost-effective approach to improve both productivity and efficiency. Now let us look at the plant configuration. We have the first mill which was installed in 1999. It is FLS mill, rated at 70 tons per hour. Second one, again FLS mill, absolutely no change in these two mills. This was installed in 2006. And then we have the third mill, which is a Chinese mill. The manufacturer is Pangfei. It's a much larger mill, 110 tons per hour. But all of them are ball mills. We are quite happy with the first two ones. They have given us a great service. The first one is in operation for more than 15 years, no problem. But with Chinese mill, we have number of issues, both in terms of the power available, mill internals, and overall performance of the mill. So this is how we have moved step by step. So total installed capacity as on date is 2 million ton. What are the challenges? As I said earlier, it's a conventional grinding system, so we don't have the luxury of using VRM or roller test for grinding. We also have a power limitation, and that's going to be the central theme of this presentation. The storage constraint for slag, which is our main product. Very competitive market. All of them are conventional closed circuit ball mills. You have a limitation. There is no pre-grinder arrangement as on date. Then, being a standalone grinding unit, you have it, clinker grindability will change. The moment you change your source, you will have the impact on clinker grindability. So if you are having a mill which is giving 80 tons per hour, change the source, it may come down to 75. So day in and day out, you have to live with all these kind of challenges. Again, if you are grinding slag, then it will come to just half. From 80 tons, it may come down to 40 tons per hour. Higher moisture, you have a more problem. So these are system design limitations. Well, you can use HHE to dry slag because worldwide slag is never available as a sun-dry material. You have moisture which may range from 5% to 10%. You have to use some kind of drying mechanism. In our case, in both the mills, auto generator is installed, but currently we are not in a position to use it because of cost involved. Typically what we see that slag as received material, you may have moisture which may be varying from 6% to 10%. And this is the average figure. So, now this layout will be repeated again and again because I want to show you what we have moved and from where. In terms of total connecting load, we have mill 1, mill 2 and mill 3. This is 4.5 megawatt but single cable. Well, it is important to note these dimensions because there is a lot of implication. Mill 2, 4 megawatt, again single cable. But in mill 3, we have dual metering. You have one cable which was bringing 3 megawatt and then another cable which was bringing 2 megawatt. So total installed power which was available was 13.5. And this is the layout. The middle one is number 1, number 2 and number 3. Okay. Well, coming to system design challenges, as I was trying to explain you, this is slide number 1. So when we are operating on clinker grinding, normally we get 75 to 80 tons per hour, depending on what clinker we are grinding. We do not use hot air generator. This is a screen capture of this mill. But when you go to slag grinding, it all changes and it comes to half. So from 75, it has come down to 40 tons per hour. So this is a major impact on your mill capacity and plant availability. You just come to 50%. Again, traditionally slag has to be stored in open area and we have very limited space. Unfortunately, some time back, this area was taken away by government for road concession. So post 2012, over 30% land is taken away. Drying area is highly constrained. Well, another major problem, in terms of clinker, there is not major change. The price is not moving much. But if you look at slag prices, this is raw slag. From June 12 to December, see that the increase is almost about $7.50. When I landed there, the buying price was $0.5 per ton. Today we are buying at $8.50. And these producers are pushing us very hard to increase it to $10. And the impact is much bigger because once you dry the material, this line will further go up. So the gap between your selling point and your raw material price is quite narrow. And unfortunately, things are not improving. So there is a major impact on the cost. The market is not really, receptive to this increase in price. But in terms of plant performance, this is what we have done in the last year. Now, what is important here is that this is a normal scenario when we look at clinker-based product. Normally, you consume under 40 units. This is okay. But the real problem is slag. So we consume 75.4 units. What is interesting is that in terms of contribution towards total power, this is totally reversed. So slag with a lesser volume is contributing to more component in terms of contribution towards total power. Now this is our major grain area. So this is the volume produced. So we produce only 31%, but in terms of contribution towards total power, it is almost about 47%. Now what we are looking at this juncture to increase the volume of slag. So this figure is likely to change. So we have to put more and more focus on somehow to improve slag grinding efficiency. So when we are looking at improving our efficiency, I always say it starts with optimum use of available resources, maximum availability of plant, innovative approach, specific performance for a particular line. You have to manage a product, which line to be used for which product, and basically conversion of challenges into opportunities. So this is what we have done. So when this problem was thrown at us, there was a situation. We invested almost about $25 million in that Chinese mill. And in 2012, up till middle of 2013, we were staring at this cost as a sunk cost. There was no solution which was available to us. And the reason was, now you have seen that the power was available to all the three mills. But the last mill, where you have a split, you have 3 megawatt and you have 2 megawatt. The major problem is the main drive for line 3 actually required 3.8 megawatt. So if you do not have available power to you, you can't run it. If you have to run it, you have to run it only at 60% loading. So you have a major implication of consuming maybe about 25 units more. So this is a dilemma which we had, and we had almost come to a conclusion after analyzing whether it is possible to relocate this mill. We sell it to someone, but nothing was getting firmed up. So we were looking at almost $25 million loss. And from 2 million ton installed capacity, we were reduced to only 1.2. So what's the solution? And we did this job in 2 phases. The first phase was, now this is the arrangement which was available before January 2014. So you have line 1, line 2, line 1 and line 3, which was not in use. So you have auxiliary and main power. This required 3.8 megawatt. There was no problem with other 2 units. Well, we used a very simple approach but practical solution, and that solution was we relocated or reassigned the power from this line to this line. So what that 4 megawatt was transferred to line 3, and this allowed us to run that particular line. So this is the arrangement which we are using right now. So 4 megawatt was transferred from this line to this line. Now this allowed us to run this line, and not only this line, it gave us a lot of flexibility in terms of product changeability. So if you have to see this allocation in terms of product, we have OPC, ground slag, line 2 again ground slag, and line 3 again ground slag. We have the capability of grinding slag in all 3 mills. So this is the, you have line 1 and line 2. So this power was transferred from here to here. Well, luckily in our case, this distance was not big. We are barely looking at 125 meters from one substation to other substation. And of late, what we are doing, right now we have dedicated line 3 to only slag grinding. All clinker based product we have shifted to line 1, and then this we do on alternate basis. But the problem is this job was only half done. We have to use either mill 2 or mill 3 on alternate basis, because we only strap the power from one line to other line, and we use an alternate method. So if you required, we are running line 3. If you wanted, then you are running line 2. But there was no possibility of running all the 3 mills together at the same time. So job was only half done. Well, in terms of all utilities, we moved this to 3.8 megawatt. Available power was only 3 megawatt from Deva, which is an authority. So this line was transferred, and the total investment for this job, well, it was less than $200,000. Next to nothing. And we switched entire production of GGBS from line 2 to line 3. Let's see what is the result of that. One of the major advantages which we got was that there was nearly 50% increase in production. So mill, which was giving us 40 tons per hour, started giving us 60 tons per hour. And this is a change from moving from line 2 to line 3. So we are using larger mill to increase our production. So no other change, only transfer of power from mill number 2 to mill number 3. And this we are doing since May 2014 now. So almost 1 year is over. Well, so far so good, there is no problem. So in terms of performance of the plant, we are now able to run all the 3 lines. Sorry. So the good part is that we are in a position to make a lot of changes in terms of either you move to this line or this line. This is totally dedicated. So this is a December and figure we almost produce 82,000. As we talk today, it's gone above 150,000 tons. This is a product allocation. I don't know why these bullets are still coming. So you can see line 1 is fully loaded and all the products are produced here. Line 3 is totally dedicated to GGBS, and in line 2 we also produce fly ash and ground slab. So you have a lot of flexibility in terms of your operation and plant availability. Alright, now the challenge is for this year, well, we would be going to almost 1 million ton production, and that also includes almost about 350,000 tons of slab. Are we really here to do that? We have made a very good progress. It was practically next to nothing when we started in 2012, but then we have made a very rapid progress, and hopefully in next few years we would be almost close to 1.5 million ton. So line 1, almost 71% production, 15% and 13%. So what's the next challenge? Now the challenge is, if you have to really cover this type of volume for this year, you need all these mills. But the problem is, with line 1, you have an available capacity of 0.6. If you start grinding slag, you come down to only 0.25. So if you are running the combination of, remember I told you that we can run only 2 mills at a time, not all 3. So you are limited to 0.85. If you change to line 1 and line 3, well, much better, we can go actually to. So for this year, possibly you will be able to manage our job with a combination of line 1 and line 3. But then what happens next? Possibly towards last quarter, we may struggle to manage 15-20% additional volume. So again, we analyze the complete power allocation to plant threadbare, like which drive is consuming how much kilowatts. And once we analyze that, we realize that yes, there is no problem. We are not consuming total power which is available from the grid or main substation. So this is main motor, this is auxiliary. Line 1, this is main drive. Again line 2, these are twin motors, and this is central driven. This will now change. So post 2015, this job right now it is happening in the plant. In Q2, you will be able to complete all the lines, and this power will also be transferred. In that case, we will have the total connecting load available to us. Well, what is interesting is that if you have to take that additional 1 megawatt, which was short, we need to invest almost 7 million AED. Converted to dollars. This is an investment which is a direct investment. I am not taking into consideration the amount of time which would be involved. You have to approach authorities, which may take about 1 year or maybe even 2 years. You have to take this line from the main substation. It may be available, it may not be available to you. Modification of slag circuit, if you have to go for pre-grinder, if it is a standalone grinding unit, you do not have too many options available to you. You can only go for pre-grinder, something like roller press. Investment is almost close to $6.5 million. How do you save this much of money? Again, in terms of operating expenditure, we are not able to use hot air generator to dry slag. The cost is $7 per ton. If you go for extra space, which is now available, again you have to spend almost about $1.6 per ton per square meter. So again, it's a problem. We are not in a position to spend so much of money, or even for getting some extra space. So you have constraint in terms of capex and also in terms of operating expenditure. Solution? Well, we have to go for further alignment of power. And this time, what we did, that 3 megawatt which was unused, you remember, 4 megawatt was transferred from line 2 to line 3 to make it operative. But that line also has its own power available. Now that was line idle. So we moved that 3 megawatt. So basically it was complete swapping of connecting loads from line 2 to line 3 and from 3 to 2. There was no major job which was involved. Basically 3 megawatt high tension cable from line 3. It's only 120 meter. We need panels because you are transferring the power. Laying of LT cables from that main substation to plant site, which are about 800 or 900 odd meters. So not a major investment. So once that 3 megawatt was transferred, this would give us 2.5 to 2.6 megawatt, which would be able to run line 2 again independently. To manage auxiliary drives, you need 1 more megawatt power because you have transferred 4 and you have taken back 3, so you need 1 more. So 1 more was drawn from line 3 to run the auxiliaries. So I think it will be more clear when we look at this diagram. So what we have done, this was phase 1. When line 2, 4 megawatt was transferred to this side, making it operational. Now whatever was available here, this was again transferred back to this line 2. So this is operational and we need 1 more because you transferred 4 megawatt. 1 more megawatt will be spared from this line to make auxiliaries also totally functional. So this is a scenario where with almost about $700,000 investment against $2 million, we would be able to run complete lines independent of each other to full capacity. So if you are really interested in that kind of breakup, the only thing which would be required is this part. This we have totally eliminated. So this is a net saving in this case. And this is a cost estimate in terms of internal modification. So we are typically looking at something close to say about less than 1 million dirham, roughly $500,000, even less than that, against almost about $7 to $8 million. Because you are looking at transfer of power as well as pre-grinder. What else we did? Because everything is linked to power, it's a grinding station. We also reduced our inventory of 2 materials and created more space for slag grinding. Both limestone and gypsum are locally available. So instead of having 1 month inventory, we reduce it to half. So this land was available, we now use it for drying. One more thing which we did was, we increased the height of these piles. This was the original scenario. We increased the height to 10 to 12 meters, creating more space for sun drying. And that's the approach which we use. What else we have done? Well, we have managed to save a lot of fossil fuel. We are not using hot air generator. This what we have started in 2010, and by end of 2015, well, we would be saving almost $5.2 million purely on account of no diesel consumption in hot air generator. But then we have to do a lot of production management. So this is a scenario. And with each year, if you are not using hot air generator, and that's our intention, this number will be multiplied more and more. So what's the future scenario? Now a lot of changes are happening. Apart from the growth in construction, well, recently Dubai municipality has announced use of GGBS, I mean ground slag and fly ash, as mandatory in all substructures and superstructures. That would mean more use and more consumption of slag. So if you have this kind of scenario, and we expect that Dubai alone will consume at least 500,000 more slag. Plus, you also have events like Expo, and then you have World Cup in Qatar. These are the events which are further going to fuel growth of cement as well as cementitious materials in the region. So everything has a limitation. We did quite well in terms of swapping of power, but then you have a limitation. If you have to produce more slag, so something close to 500,000 per ton, then there is a limitation. So this is what we aim to produce in the year 27-2018. This is the time when all these events will be having their peak consumption, either Expo 2020 or World Cup in Qatar. So the best solution which we have found and very, very seriously we are considering is that one of the mills will be converted to or we will install a grinder in one of these mills. So straight away that 40 ton becomes 80 tons per hour. We have a saving which is guaranteed to us. It would be at least 30 units per ton. Well, it's quite big in terms of power saving. So from almost say about 0.3 million ton, you would be adding now almost double the capacity. And that would be the situation where we would reach 0.6 and 0.8 with slag grinding. So the total installed capacity with a mix of slag and OPC would be available to you. So total 2 million ton in operation. So just to finish up, whatever resources are available, we are able to manage our job quite efficiently. Operational is flexible. We are looking at some more additions. Carbon footprint is significantly reduced, and we are aligned with future demand which would be generated. So both in terms of adding up one pre-grinder, and basically we are looking at a payback period of less than 4 years, with an investment of almost about 24 million dirham. The strategic actions are planned already in place to manage cost competitiveness. There was a time when we started the business of slag grinding in UAE. Today the competition is quite tough, and there are 7 of them, including you have all MNCs and smaller players. Thank you for your kind attention.